Chair recognizes the gentleman from Kenton, 69, for explanation of bill and a motion thereon.
Mr. Speaker, I'd ask that the clerk report Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 225.
Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 225.
Gentleman from Kenton.
I move this body for adoption.
Motion is for the adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any discussion? Chair recognizes the lady from Fayette, 75, for discussion of the committee sub.
I have no discussion on the sub. Thank you.
We'll get right back to you, lady from Kenton. Motion is for the adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any discussion of the committee sub? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Those opposed, nay. House Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Kenton.
In 2016, this body passed right-to-work legislation that allowed for individuals to no longer be forced to pay compulsory dues to a trade association. This sweeping legislation covered every occupation in Kentucky except for one. Today, before this body, is the crown jewel of right-to-work legislation. We now consider whether attorneys should be forced to pay dues to a trade association that engages in political speech on their behalf. House Bill 225 does one thing. It no longer forces licensed attorneys to be associated with the Kentucky Bar Association. Let me be clear. This bill is not about defunding the Kentucky Bar Association. It's about giving attorneys the right to choose how their dollars are spent. The First Amendment of our Constitution grants us the right to free speech, the right to associate and assemble, and the right to disassemble. The First Amendment also gives us the right to disassociate, a right not granted to attorneys in the Commonwealth, as we are forced to be members of the Kentucky Bar Association. This bill aligns our state constitution with our federal constitution. It allows attorneys to choose whether they wish to be part of the KBA, while also requiring attorneys to pay fees for admission and discipline. When liberal activists like Monica Lewinsky and James Carville, as well as conservative commentators like Mary Matlin, headline our annual convention, members of the KBA should have the right to disassociate with the trade association that engages in political speech on their behalf. The KBA provides numerous services to its members. I appreciate those services. They're valuable, and nothing in this bill restricts the KBA's ability to provide those programs or the other programs that they're currently providing. Clearly put, this bill does not abolish the KBA, but it rather gives more control to its members to influence programming and budget by voluntarily joining and giving affirmative support through their voluntary contributions. Unless there are any questions, Mr. Speaker, I move for passage of House Bill 225 as amended by Committee Substitute 1.